What is up, friends? It is your host of Village Talks, Damian Howard, here with another amazing segment. How do I know it's going to be amazing? Because we are home. We are in Chicago, Chi-Town, and most of the time when we are here in Chicago, I have the benefit and I have the privilege of having my friends, having people that literally do this village work with me, and I do it with them, all oriented towards the end of supporting young people and supporting the families and the ecosystems that drive the wellness for these kids that we care about and the family members that we care about. So, Dr. Carol, I don't want to take up any more time, just kind of blabbering because I can go there and just keep talking. I want to be quiet at this point because I just want the viewing audience to be able to hear by way of introduction who you are and any other details that you might want to share on the front end.
Wow, thank you so much for this opportunity and just having this platform so we can come together and just share and talk and highlight the wonderful work that's happening in the city of Chicago despite what we see on the news. So we appreciate you and what you do, Damian. So let me start off by saying that yes, I am Dr. Carol Collum, the founder and executive director of True Believers Community Connections. We have a youth initiative called Stay Lit that keeps us extremely active in the local community. Although we're housed in Auburn Gresham, we service families, not only youth, but families in Auburn Gresham, Greater Grand Crossing, Chatham, Englewood, look, Ashburn, Washington Heights. We've expanded and really advanced our footprint right in the heart of where it's needed. These youth that we serve, range from age 11 to 24 and beyond. But what we found is that, the support that we offer those families are highly sought after. And, that's why we're there. And that's why we're looking to stay beyond today, right? So all of this came by way of my background. I have been doing this work in Auburn Gresham. We've been established since 2013, but we've been in Auburn Gresham, for about 8 years, right there on the corner of 79th and Normal. And coming to establish True Believers, it was an intersection of three particular backgrounds that I have. One is law enforcement. A lot of people don't know that. One is education, and the third is social work. So the intersection of all of the dynamics with these three professions and this professional journey that I actually have partaken over the years established the vision for True Believers Community Connections, right? I was working in a prison as well as work release facility. I was a senior corrections parole agent responsible for 378 newly released prisoners who, of course, had court mandates. So it was up to me to make sure that they were connected to, adhere to, and respond to those court mandates. But I was not received as being supportive and helpful because I looked like the enemy, meaning I had the bulletproof vest, I had the squad car, I could issue my own warrants, drove my parole violators back to Stateville in the back of my squad car. So I wasn't viewed as helpful. I wasn't openly received because I looked like the people who took their freedom, right? And so I struggled with that for a long time. And then, of course, came out of law enforcement. The school setting was my first opportunity in education, was assistant principal, dean of students there. Again, that disciplinarian where I still struggled with being that full force wraparound support because the school system has its own structures, its own protocols, its own glass ceiling. So that social work arena that I, took on in the school setting still had a stopping point and still wouldn't allow me to embrace individuals and families like I had the passion to do.
Hmm.
So I had to then start True Believers, right? Now I'm able to truly roll out the vision, the passion.
Yeah.
I'm able to stand with the empathy without reservation. And that's how we came to establish True Believers. Again, 2013, we are now, a little over 10 years in existence. And it's been a joy. It's been turbulent,
Yeah.
but it has been wonderful.
Mm. So much to unpack. I'm like, where do we start? Dr. Carroll, in 2017, I am teaching as a special education resource teacher at Crane High School. And I had an epiphany that to some extent overwhelmed me. And here, here is kind of language to speak to the epiphany. It was like this sense of, man, Damien, you have greater capacity within you to impact change for your city beyond one school, beyond one classroom. And I know your personality, so I know that even though the system created constraints, that you are an innovative person and you are an empathetic person, a person who wants to have empathy without constraints, with no reservation. And right, like that mix and blend of who you are, I know, yeah, it was some haters, you know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be the haters, but you were well liked. And I resonate with that, right? Because it wasn't like Crane was a bad experience for me. I was rocking it out and I was like having a ball there. But again, it was just like it started to like be what am I trying to like? I'm trying to like claustrophobic, like, I'm choking. You know what I mean? I need breath. I need to breathe. I need to stretch my arms a bit. And I guess a question I have for you is, what would you say to those folks who are within systems that feel as if they are constrained when it comes to them having a genuine desire to do the work, to make the impact, to bring about the transformation that they have a vision for right there within their
Yeah.
systematized job role that they have. I don't know, any thoughts there? Because again, I even think of just, I know education is a part of your professional journey. So many educators with huge hearts that get to a point where they're like, it's only so much I can do. I hit a glass ceiling as far as the real impact that I can make. And I feel like the rest of what I want to do is constrained. Any thoughts or
Yeah.
any feedback to that?
I know that feeling of suffocation too well.
Mm, mm,
It's, and I'm going to tell you, when you're a visionary leader, it's even
mm,
worse, right? And so throughout that experience, I think it's more of a self discovery because that's when you realize, to your point, what I have inside of me is bigger than where I am. I've outgrown this space. That's why that suffocation, is impacting us to the degree where it's so uncomfortable. But again, it's self-awareness and self-discovery. Now, the self-awareness is we have to make sure we're not just necessarily burnt out or overwhelmed. So we have to be in tune with our emotions and the season that we're in, right? But when it's a self discovery and we feel the suffocation of a vision not being able to be fulfilled, that's when we need to really be honest with ourselves and try and decide, is it my time to go, right? But that's really the signs that, okay, because I don't want to go spiritual here, but the Lord will make us uncomfortable in a current season to make sure that we are aware that it is potentially time to move on. Because if we're comfortable, we're just going to kind of sit back and cross our feet and things are smooth. But the moment he starts disrupting stuff,
Yeah.
it's for a different reason. And so just let me say, had I
Mm.
not been disrupted
Wow.
along the journey, I would have stayed there because
Mm.
I would to you successful, things are well, right? But something on the inside of me was just not okay with that level of comfortability, right? There's nothing
Mhm.
in me that wants to be mundane.
Yeah.
That's just how he's wired me. So what I'm saying to those individuals,
Hmm.
it's a self-discovery opportunity to see if it's in fact time to move on. Has that season truly ended?
Hmm. I'm not
And
going to
is
ask.
it
Oh, go ahead. Or
no,
is it
I'm
what? No,
just
no,
going to
no,
say, or
please.
is it, or is it time to really identify the next level, the next step, right?
Hmm.
But that's self-discovery.
I got something that I really want to ask you right now. There was like kind of like two questions, so I'm gonna make one of the questions a statement, and then I'm gonna ask my question.
Okay.
So forget it, forget it. Let me just go to the question because it's burning. It's burning. I'm like,
Okay.
I gotta
Okay.
get it out. I gotta get it out. So here's the truth of it all. And I could talk to you like this and we can have this real talk conversation because we know each other and we've been boots on the ground and served
Yeah.
this together, locking arms. Not the stuff that makes the news, but the stuff that makes the impact. Here's the reality of a thing. Let's go there, right? So, yeah, you feel the suffocation. Yes, you feel the constraints. Yes, you're looking at a system that holds us back as visionaries from living into the fullness of what we believe God has in store for our lives. I'm hearing all of that. I get that. I resonate with it. Here's the but,
Right.
though. But,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You're coming from the perceived comfort of I do this for a certain amount of years. I'm going to have the 401k. I'm going to have the health covered, right? I am going to have even the union that makes sure that there is an advocacy force that's there for me to fight on my behalf, to argue on my behalf, to strike when we got to strike. All of the things you lose and you sacrifice so many comforts when you want to take that type of leap that says that over here something ain't right and I feel spiritually it ain't right, physically this thing is even because it'll get to the point it start attacking your body, you understand, like
Oh, I
physically.
know.
Yeah, you know what I mean, physically it ain't right. But Dr. Carroll, when we're ready to make that leap, sometimes all of those resources and those comforts aren't there. I just want to see what your reaction is to that.
They disappear. The truth of the matter is it goes out the window
Yeah.
because again, that's the intention.
Mm,
That's the intention behind God disrupting
mm,
and all of that, of course, getting us to the point where we do take the leap of faith. Why? Because now my faith isn't in that system. My
mm,
faith is in God,
mm.
right? Because if I stayed there, the connection is for the 401k, the health benefits, all of the stuff that I can't put my hand on if I take this leap of faith. Because I'm going to be real honest with you. Again, you heard me say it was turbulent. It was turbulent.
Not only have
But
I
when
heard you say it, I was there with you during that process of turbulence. Was I not? Like we had conversations during those seasons.
oh, and it still is uncertain. But when I tell you my faith right now is unshakable and cannot be shattered because I trusted God to lead. Don't again, we can really go deep with this. We're talking over 10 years ago, I left six figures and had to walk to something ground zero to build from scratch. Build from the ground. Now, walking from six figures with health benefits, 401k, all of that, to what? Pay out of pocket, just having a burning desire to fulfill what I felt was my calling. And I'm going to tell you, had I not taken that leap of faith, again, I probably would have been successful, but comfortable. I wouldn't be as fulfilled. And like you said, health. you days off, getting rejected. I mean, we can just go down the list in terms of the brick walls, in terms of the insurmountable mountains of the ecosystem. We can go, because of course I tried to advocate within the system. It's almost like it doesn't want to get any better or doesn't want to flow any smoother.
Mm,
And so that I think was the determining factor, because I had solutions. We're solution-minded
right,
individuals,
for sure.
but it wasn't embraced. And
So
so, yeah.
tell me this. So when you start talking about that purpose stuff, that did something in me, right? Because everybody doesn't have to go out and start an initiative like you did with True Believers. They don't have
Mhm.
to go out and take the leap in the way that I did, starting with one school doing social emotional learning sessions here, another trying to figure it out. I started, I didn't just leave, full-time teaching. I did part-time first as I was, figuring out a partnership with a local nonprofit. And I had my own journey. Some people's journey is that they might not even leave their profession, but guess what? They can come over there and volunteer with you. There's something about finding, leaning into, and living in purpose beyond living for a paycheck that brings
Mm.
about a fulfillment that people don't have to be as depressed, suicidal, having ideations of ending this whole thing because I got the six figures, I got the seven figures, but still I'm lonely. Still I have no sense of purpose. So you brought out that sense of purpose, and I know this is Village Talks, and it's all about empowerment. It's all about some education and inspiration people are going to get when they come to this place. So I just want to lean a little bit more into that purpose that you started driving into.
Again, connected to that self-discovery.
Mm,
If we are faith-driven individuals, faith-minded individuals, and God is truly our center and our source, everything we do, of course, would be to glorify Him and to
mm-hmm,
bring kingdom, heaven down here on earth. And
mm,
so if I've yielded my life for Him to use me abundantly, there is no limits to that.
mm,
There is no restraints to that. There is no suffocation
mm,
when it comes to that. But
mm.
we truly got to know who our creator is and who the individual who put that purpose and that calling down on the inside of us. So that self-discovery is also connected with knowing who our creator and who our God is. That when we know who he is, we know his era, his essence,
Yeah.
and so I know when I'm doing something that's not aligned with my purpose, it's
So,
going to disrupt me
so
because
here's the
I'm
thing.
led and guided by his spirit.
You
You
and
done
I,
got me to preach it.
you and I both resonate very deeply with what you're saying. I'm gonna tell you something though. One of my best mentors that I've ever had was actually before I started on my current journey, and even before I was in Crane High School, I worked at Phillips High School.
Mm,
And I got some interns from the University of Illinois at Chicago. And this young lady was a devout atheist. But I promise you, a devout atheist and a Caucasian girl in an all black school. She came in there with no sense of feeling like she has to assimilate and try to be like everybody or speak like everybody. But there was just a willingness, a openness, a clear sense of identity, and like I promise you, to date was one of my best interns that I've ever had. So I just want you, I hear what you said, and I resonate deeply with everything that you just said. But let's I want you to speak to those people who don't have the same faith commitment that you and I have, like
yeah.
about this purpose piece.
Well, we can just say that there's some type of internal switch
Okay.
that you know what I'm saying.
Whatever it is,
However, we
it's
want to
there.
dress up the language, right? We can use a different language if we so choose, but it's really about self-awareness and being
Yeah.
in tune with the environments that you feel that you work best in. How about
Mm,
that? Can I say
mm.
it that way then if it's not?
You can say, listen, you can say it however you want to say it here. I just want to lean into that a little bit because I know our audience is diverse, and I know folks come in
Exactly.
here with from all different type of places, and I want us to be able to be true and real to who we are. And from a faith
Yes.
perspective, everything you said, oh, I so deeply align. but I know that there are also nuggets. I don't want people to miss the core of what you're saying
Yeah, yeah.
just because they might not agree with what we believe in faith-wise.
And I appreciate you,
Yeah.
for instituting this balance. So I'll
Yeah.
say, there's an innate ability to
Mm.
work well with others when you're in an environment
Yeah.
that welcomes your gifts and your
Alignment.
abilities and talents.
Hmm.
And those talents, of course, can be enhanced when you can plug in with the right team and the right ecosystems.
Mm.
And when we explore that and look for those opportunities, we find that we work best in those particular settings. We'll find that it's, particular target clients or populations that we may work best with.
Yeah.
And as we gauge and become more aware of that, those are the opportunities that we, continue to plug into.
Yeah.
So I would say, to those individuals, find those moments that make you smile from the
Mm.
inside out, right?
Mm.
You should look fulfilled. You should feel fulfilled. Let's talk about look fulfilled too.
Mm.
Let You should really be radiant
Mm.
because you found those things that you align with in life. If
Mm.
you're not feeling that type of joy, unspeakable joy,
Yeah.
we're not saying it's void of troubles and turbulence, but you should find some unspeakable joy where you say, you know what, I'm not just collecting a paycheck, I'm impacting lives.
This is so powerful, right? Because some people might want to argue that I'm not going to smile on the out. I am smiling in the in, but I'm not going to smile on the out because that's just not my character. This is my resting face. You know what I mean? And this is who
Yeah.
I am and how I do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think either one of us are wired in a way where we're going to agree with that. But what I could say for me and mine, you know what I mean? Like the way, like you said, stuff can get so hard. Life can get so overwhelming and demanding, and there's a simplicity and the power of putting a smile on your face that has the ability to start impacting your psychology. You know what I mean? And if you're already smiling on the inside, then you start smiling on the outside, then it's impacting the inside. So yeah, I think it's something definitely to be said to your point about what
Mhm.
brings you that joy, what puts a smile on your face. And if you're not able to find that at your place of profession, y'all better go over there and find Dr. Curl, get with true believers and do some volunteerism. Even in cutting his check, I'm sure some of your donors who seem like
Oh,
they're part of the vision that brings a smile to their face, right?
it is,
Yeah.
an entire team that
Yeah.
helps us push the vision and mission of True Believers. So yes, volunteers, staff, community partners, funders, we can go on and on in terms of the level and measure of support that we receive, and we're again blessed beyond measure because of that.
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes where that turbulence is not necessarily as visible. And so I don't want to portray that all, everything is just these bed of, roses and everything's all, beautiful and glamorous. But, it's sweat, blood,
Yeah.
tears, as they say, that sweat equity that goes, behind the scenes, long hours, all of that. Because when you're the visionary leader, you're responsible for all of the deliverables, the outcomes, all of everything regarding the nonprofit organization. And because you're the visionary leader, your team may not necessarily see or understand that vision as thoroughly. So you may have to do a lot of training. You may have to retrain, and it may be a disconnect even with the volunteers, because we have volunteers who show up that
Yeah.
just need community service hours and
Yeah.
are not necessarily plugged in, with the people. So, you get all of these adversarial,
Mm.
things that may come against you as well. But again, when it's something on the inside of you,
Yeah.
it gives you that stamina
Mm.
to then be, resolved in pushing the mission and vision forward.
That's a special anointing that some people can have on them to be able to do all of the things. I came from a particular church that the pastor there at one point was preaching 4 or 5 services a Sunday. And now my
Wow.
pastor, current pastor, is up to preaching three a Sunday. And I'm
Wow.
just like, I know the energy that is exuded when you're preaching in the black preaching style, even back to back like that, our homilies. I mean, that's a
Mm,
lot. But to your point,
mm,
it's like if there's a particular post that resonates with what's on the inside of you, resonates who you think you called to be, there then is a
mm.
special grace given to you, a special anointing put on your life. And I love that. I got a few more questions for you.
I wanted to
Um,
chime in right there, though,
oh,
just
it's
quickly. I just wanted to say again, that's that self-discovery and
wow.
self-awareness. Those gifts,
Mm,
your abilities and your gifts connect to your call. That is what, empowers you to stand in your calling.
mm,
So, like, I know my gift is administration, right? Just like your pastor, he was called to be a pastor, and so
mm,
he's going to be empowered to do that.
mm,
Right? An administrator is going to be empowered to administrate, to build, to lay structures and foundations,
mm,
right? To plant that. So you got to know your gifts, your talents, your abilities, because it's going to empower you in your calling.
mm. One of those recognitions and awards behind you, I recognize it looks like
Oh,
it's from
see,
one of those CPS networks when they give out their awards for recognition. And I could be wrong. Again, like plaques could
yeah.
look similar across different entities, so I could be wrong. But I know you do work in a school, so I was assuming. Tell us about one of those awards, which speaks to a unique partnership you have, which then culminated in some type of acknowledgement that you were able to receive based on your work. Any
Wow.
of the awards behind you?
I'm going to tell you the one that's the most jaw-dropping and
Okay.
awe-inspiring is the award I received from the Church of God in
Okay.
Christ. This award, I'm gonna get it because I want to. This award here,
That's a nice one.
this award
Yeah.
is the highest honor
Mm.
in the International Church of God in Christ,
Okay.
and it's for recognition of distinguished service.
Mm.
November 2023, Public Resource Assistant.
Mm.
So the Church of God in Christ recognized the work that was going on
Yeah.
in Auburn Gresham. And this only comes by way of being, um, you know, what do you call, recommended
Yes. I
by
love it.
my pastor and bishop. And so just honored
Mm.
that someone would see the work
Mm.
beyond just, again, the day-to-day grassroots in the trenches, because I don't see it as such because it's where my heart is, but others see it as long-standing, acknowledgeable, award-winning
Mm.
accomplishments, and I am elated that others view it as such. There is no other higher recognition in
Wow.
the Church of God in Christ.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I'm still awe-inspired because they thought of the work that we do in Chicago.
That's it. That's it.
This is global.
I
This is
hear it.
global.
I hear you. I hear you. And I love the humility that you exhibit. I know you to be an extremely powerful woman. You don't lead with any type of like arrogance based on the power that's invested in you. But what we just saw also was that blend that is spoke of by Jim Collins when he talks about that level 5 leader with that unique blend of executive leadership, that power, right? That's exuded in those executive spaces, but also humility, right? That ability to just get happy and be honored when it's time for you to feel the fullness of people recognizing, really, in many ways, your greatness and all of the great things that you're doing. And we know your greatness comes from who you're plugged into and the source that leads you. But like, yeah, like let us call that out, your greatness. So I think you remember this, but I grew up in Auburn Gresham on 79th and Hermitage. I went to Scott Joplin, not too
Uh-huh.
far away from you all's offices. So I got a special love for where you all are headquartered. Again, I know now y'all are all across the city of Chicago making an impact. Dr. Carroll, I have a question. What do you love most about Chicago? And I think just to
Mm,
kind of tie it in to us just continuing to learn more of not just you, but also true believers,
yeah.
how does kind of what you love about Chicago, what your staff love about Chicago, how does that show up in the way that you all serve or do
Mhm.
programming?
Mhm. Yeah, no, what I admire about the city of Chicago
Yeah.
are just the opportunities to explore the culture, the arts.
Yes.
We have museums, we have, just a plethora of things to be educated on,
Mm,
things that we can be informed about. But what that leads way to are, opportunities to take the youth and young adults on field trips.
mm,
We're able to then, take them off site where they're at the Google
mhm.
administrative office, or where
Wow.
they get to go to Navy Pier. And even now, let's talk about it, the Obama Center.
Oh yeah.
We now have some additional opportunities for our young people
The Obama
to
Center on
come
the south side of Chicago, by the way.
on the south side of Chicago, right up the street. But that's what I love about
Yeah.
the city of Chicago. And even if it's just to take them to a tour of our local universities,
Yeah.
right? We have, just wonderful, extraordinary university options, and we take the young people there. But all of it is to pique their interest,
Mm.
right? In higher wage paying employment opportunities, STEM. And so these field trips and these opportunities in the city of Chicago, really opens up their understanding of what their future could potentially be. And it's not just within the block, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole world out here. And again, we may only explore Chicago,
Mm.
wanting to do other things in the future. But that's what's so grand about our city.
It's oh man, I'm becoming so much more encouraged as it pertains to the power of exposure. And I hear you saying that there's a young man in our city, recent graduate of one of the local high schools, who's been he's been mentored by different kind of segments of My Brother's Keeper. You bring up the Obama Foundation, that's
Hmm.
tied to their My Brother's Keeper initiative. And long and short, at one point in time, he was able to go to the Final Four and be a part of the production team.
Yeah.
And that shifted his interest into being a part of that field. And initially, he was like, I want to be behind the camera. Well, they took him
Mhm.
to NASCAR after the Final Four. He was a part of the production team. And he was able to see, like, oh, well, like, no, like, there's other levels to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't have to segment myself to just this one field that or one aspect that I thought I would be segmented to. So I love that piece of exposure that you bring out. Um, Now I want to transition and shift to a part of the segment that I do with everybody, or that comes up with everybody, and it's the magic wand part of the segment. So you got a magic wand, Dr. Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
And as
Mm-hmm.
you think of the city of Chicago, as you think of true believers, as you think of the visionary impact that is
Yes.
inside of you, what are you going to use that magic wand to do?
Well, what I am in total prayer about is more space. We have totally outgrown our space
Mm,
on 79th and Normal. And as we continue to expand programming and bring all of these wonderful opportunities to youth and their families, because I
mm,
didn't even talk about the case management services and support and the
yeah.
community outreach that we do on a routine basis too. We are in prayer and
Mm,
believing and trusting about space. We
mm,
we need to have multiple classrooms. We need to have a space to receive our donation deliveries.
mm,
Every quarter when we do our community giveaway, there's 500 plus families that come regularly to
mm,
benefit from the free goods that we receive, tags on it, brand new merchandise. Our families rely on us to do these quarterly.
Mm,
And we need the space to store the merchandise.
mm,
I'm just gonna share. I got an email requesting if we can receive a truckload, 18 pallets.
mm. You're like, where we gonna put this stuff?
We gonna
Mhm.
figure it out because
Right,
it's brand new merchandise for our
right.
family. So when I say we have really evolved to be in high demand,
Mm,
uh, again, our families rely on us. We need the space to continue to accommodate the programming, the case management, and the outreach that we do. We've recently secured a partnership with Cook County Probation Department.
mm.
We have now, and it's only been a couple months, hundreds of court mandated individuals needing community service hours coming to our site now. And you've
Mm.
been to our location.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Ask me how we're doing it. I don't know.
yeah.
But we need a space to
Understood.
accommodate these expanded programs and opportunities that we are now able to do. Because I
Mm.
haven't even talked about the workforce development and how we're able to pay young people. You were
Yeah,
instrumental,
yeah.
in aligning
Mm-hmm.
one of our partner schools
Yep,
with high school students being paid to
yep.
participate in workforce development, resume writing, interview skills, and that sort of thing. So we're growing and expanding, and so we need our space to
Yeah.
grow and expand with us.
Yeah, that is clear. That and very helpful. And I'm so glad now that this podcast has the ability to be an asset for you. You ain't even got to
Yeah.
tell the donors give like, hey, watch the podcast and watch it until the end. You
To
understand?
the end.
Yeah.
Or I might have to splice this section out, right?
That's
Splice
it.
this.
That's it. And I can help with that, by the way, too. So just let me know what you need, and I got you. So, Dr. Carroll, we have like time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah,
We messed
yeah,
around and we've made it to the end of this segment and session. So
yeah.
yeah, I just want to know if one, there are ways that people can get in contact with you, give
Sure.
language to how you want that to happen. And then lastly, if there's any final words, again, this is all about education and inspiration. People
Yeah.
already got that, a boatload of that. Just like you talk about that truck pulling up with the 18 pallets. You gave us
Right.
18 pallets worth of heavy education and inspiration in this space today. And we salute you for that, Queen. Again, it's only so much you can ask in a segment. I can see you as such a mother figure, and I wanted to know
Oh,
like the depth of like what that entails. I know you're a mother figure to your staff, but I know when them families come in, there's so much nurture and love that they get. And it gets hard for you, right? Because to your point, you showed me your phone earlier, all these messages. Oh man, that exudes off your countenance. But again, you got the
yeah.
final word. Jump in there with how we could get in touch with you and anything else that you might want to share as inspiration for the village today.
I wanna kind of highlight. It's in my spirit to highlight this one thing with the listeners. And it's not to toot my own horn, but I want to just kind of pull everything together in terms of perhaps individuals may, feel suffocated or, feel as if, they're not really comfortable where they are in their professional journeys, to really have them, this, spend that time, whatever that looks like for you, to really discover if it's time for, another season or to exit. Because if it's something that's resonating in you to launch or start, I want to say take that leap of faith. And then I want to just use True Believers as an example of that because here we are, a little more than 10 years later, but we are an accredited entity on the South Side. And let me explain the CARF accreditation we have. We have the only community youth development accreditation, not only in the city of Chicago, not only in the state of Illinois, but in the entire Midwest region. And so that accreditation truly sets us apart with that spirit of excellence where there's external entities that come in and critique, audit our entire processes and systems. right? The processes, protocols, practices, and procedures. External people come in and look at that. So I bring that up to say, pour yourself into, right? Dispense all of that internal energy, all that internal drive, all that grit. Pour that into something that you can be proud of. And that again, that's going to have you with that, unspeakable joy, that fulfillment. It's going to set you apart from the status quo. And I just want to make sure that that is the clear message here. When you truly dig on the inside and find that thing, your niche, that one thing you were called to do, you will not stand like any other individual. You're going to shine, it's going to stand out, and everyone else would not even be able to disagree with the fact that the hand of God is upon your life. So I want to bring that up because a lot of people don't know we're the only ones accredited in the Midwest region for community youth development. But that's the hard work and the effort and the drive and the grit that's poured into the day-to-day operations, and not even tooting my own horn about that accomplishment. And so please, if you know that there's something down on the inside of you that you have not been able to tap into yet, don't let another season go by where you're sitting uncomfortable, awkward, because I remember the place. I was there. I remember it. Don't let another season go by where you're not feeling the fulfillment of who you are called to be by who created you to be that. Don't miss another season. So yes, we are located on the corner of 79th and Normal. True Believers Community Connections, 459 West 79th Street, 773-966-5651 is our phone number. TrueBelieversCC.org is our website. We would, of course, welcome and embrace any calls, any contact, any support. If anyone's in need, if anyone needs to volunteer, community service hours, we are there for the community.
So sometimes at the end of these segments, there was such a mic drop that I just want to end it. So that is what's going to happen here. It's super abrupt and probably super inappropriate, but I ain't got nothing else to say because Dr. Carroll said it all. Dr. Carroll, again, we salute you. We thank you for your service and thank you for being on this segment of Village Talks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right.